Welcome to another episode of Speed Reviews, where I'm going to give you my thoughts, my final thoughts, on a whole bunch of products that I've been testing recently. Welcome if you are new here, my name is Rachel, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I've got a whole bunch of products that I've tested out that I want to tell you how I feel about them. And if we disagree, that is totally okay. We just may have different preferences, and I will do my best to tell you why I like or dislike something, and that might give you information on whether you may like or dislike it as well. If you do enjoy this type of video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing before you leave. I like to split my speed reviews up into different categories. It's just a way for me to organize my thoughts and to convey what I feel in a very clear manner. So I divide my products up into 4 categories. The first category is yes, yes, yes. These are products that I love, that I think are so good, I can't stop reaching for them, and I would definitely recommend them to you if you were interested in them. The next category is good but not great. These are things that are good but not great. Self-explanatory. They're almost my top products, but there may be one thing or a couple things about them that just are not making them my perfect product, but I still think they're good products. The third category is meh. These are products that I don't think they're great. I don't think they're terrible. They're just okay. Maybe they would work for someone else with different preferences, but I'm not really planning on repurchasing them or reaching for them a whole lot. And then the last category is, it's gonna be a no for me, dog.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
These are products that I don't like, I don't recommend. I really don't enjoy using the products, and yeah, I just don't like them. By the way, I am wearing some of the products on my face today, so I am going to pop in some clips here and there with me using the products so you can see them in action. Okay, we're gonna start off with the yes, yes, yes category, and I have quite a lot of products in this category. I'm very excited. So the first product is a skincare product, and I did receive this in PR from Pacifica. This is the Vegan Ceramide Barrier Face Lotion with lipids and marshmallow. If you can tell, maybe you can't, I literally have this much left. And let me tell you something. I have very sensitive, very acne-prone, oily skin, and I have a really hard time finding facial lotions that are good enough for daytime, that are still moisturizing, that provide a really nice base for my makeup without breaking me out, without feeling greasy, that absorb into my skin, but not so much that I feel like I didn't even put anything on. And I feel like this is the perfect daytime moisturizer for my skin. So if you have normal to oily skin and you want something like what I just described, this is a wonderful one. And I really like that Pacifica has a glass bottle with a lot of their products, so it feels a little more luxurious, even though it is just a drugstore brand. And there's no scent to this at all whatsoever. It's a fabulous daytime moisturizer. I'm absolutely going to be repurchasing this. I have a lot of products from Unearthly Cosmetics because they have been releasing a lot of stuff recently. I'm not complaining. They are one of my favorite brands. And I do have a code with Unearthly. It is Rachel if you want to save 10% off, and it is affiliated. So thank you so much if you do decide to use my code. So let's go through some Unearthly products that I think were like at the tip top of my list for my favorite products that I've tried recently. I have to give a shout out to Heather Austin. She did an amazing job on her Resurgence collection that she released with Unearthly recently. And these 2 products are going in the top category for me. And by the way, I don't include eyeshadow palettes in this video. I have a separate video where I rank my eyeshadow palettes that I've tried recently. So this is everything except eyeshadow palettes. Should have mentioned that at the beginning. But I have been reaching for these non-stop. So let's start with the highlighter duo. This has a light and a deeper highlighting shade. And I really love that she included 2 very different depths of highlighters in this palette, because I hate when brands release highlighter duo or a highlighter palette and all of the highlighters virtually look the same and they're all very light. I enjoy both of these, and actually I was surprised at how much I like this deeper one. I'm not usually a deeper highlighter or even a glowy cheek person, but I love Rebirth. This is the one I've been dipping into the most, but I also love mixing these together and blending it almost down into my blush. I don't know, I think it's so beautiful. I am wearing Rebirth on my cheeks today. It is the most beautiful like white to pink shift that has a little bit of sparkle to it. If you're looking for a barely there, lit from within glow, this isn't for you. okay? But Heather's not like a barely there girl. She is a lover of sparkle, a lover of all things bam. Why do I film on Mondays? The lawn people are here every Monday. So I've fully been enjoying this, reaching for it almost every day. I have to kind of stop myself from reaching for this. And then the gloss that she released is so incredibly beautiful. It is what I'm wearing on my lips today over a couple other products. This is the shade Omen. And if you've used Unearthly's glosses before, it's the same formula. It's very balmy. You almost feel like you're wearing a lip balm. It's not sticky, it's not goopy, it's not over the top glossy, but it does give really pretty shine to the lips. And I love that it has this like micro glitter in it. I mean, you can't really tell that there's glitter. It just makes your lips look ultra juicy. It layers over any lipstick that you may wear perfectly. It looks good on its own. Fully enjoying this gloss. Love it so much. Great job, Heather. Great job, Unearthly. And I think this collection overall is a great reflection of both Unearthly and Heather Austin. Speaking of beautiful highlights from Unearthly, I did pick up one of their Lowlight single highlighters. This one is in the shade Spellbinding. Oh my goodness. This is so hard to capture on camera. It is a multi-chrome highlighter, and it shifts from like white to almost like a white gold to a pink to a peach. It is one of the most beautiful highlighters I've ever seen. It's interesting and colorful, but it doesn't look like a stripe on the skin. It somehow still looks like it's melting into the skin. I love how this looks, especially when I wear like a pink blush and bring this down into my blush. It just looks absolutely beautiful. These are a little pricey, but I get why. Like, they are very unique and very beautiful. I probably will pick up another shade at some point in the future, but I've been loving Spellbinding especially. Another release from Unearthly that I have been really a big fan of is their liquid liner. I wear liquid eyeliner every single time I do my makeup, whether it be just a line or a wing. I just love liquid liner. I feel like I need it to be able to camouflage the lash band that I'm using. And my favorite liquid liner of all time is the KVD Tattoo Liner in Trooper Black. And I don't use the word dupe lightly, but this is almost exactly the same. I honestly, if you had taken off the logo here, I would not know that there was a difference. They perform exactly the same. They look exactly the same on the dry down. The ease of application is the same. The brush tip is the same. These are very similar products to the point where I don't even feel like there's a difference, except the packaging, I guess, is slightly different. You know, the KVD one's a little heavier, but other than that, this is a fraction of the cost. It is so easy to use, easy to create a wing, easy to draw a line, whether you want it to be thin or you want to make it a little bit thicker. The actual ink inside doesn't run out quickly when you're using it, and it's a brush tip. I don't know if I said that. I'm absolutely going to start purchasing this one over the KVD one because, like I said, I think this retails for $8, which is less than the NYX one, and I like this better than the NYX one, so absolutely love it. Another thing that I bought kind of on a whim, and I've been really enjoying it when I want to get creative. I do teach ballroom dancing, so whenever I go to competition, I want to add a little extra something to my look. I've been really enjoying this water activated liner palette from Unearthly. This is the Not in the Mood palette. First of all, absolutely love the packaging, love the artwork. She is just this fierce cowgirl, literally cowgirl. And then on the inside, you have every color that you could possibly want for a water activated liner. I think that these perform really beautifully. They last really beautifully on the eyes. I use one of the Unearthly brushes that is like a really thin eyeliner brush. I wet the actual brush and then I go in and pick up the product and make sure I've coated it enough and just add whatever I want to my look. The color is opaque. Of course, you can sheer it out if you add more liquid, but love this. I also like that some of them are metallic, so that's kind of fun, but really enjoy this. I'm so glad to have this in my collection when I do want to get a little bit more creative and extra with my look. I also have to give a shout out to Singe Beauty by Angelica Nyqvist. These are definitely at the top category for me these past month or so that I've been using them. So much, in fact, that I bought a second set. I've been fully enjoying these Singe brushes. She did come out with a 5-piece eye brush set, and I love the shape of these. Someone did ask me how these compare to like BK Beauty brushes. And I will say, these are very unique shapes. I don't feel like I personally own any BK Beauty brushes that have the same shapes as these. You have like a very large fluffy blending brush, but I love that it tapers in. So you can get into your crease, but also the color can disperse outside as well, but it blends it in such a beautiful way. You have two smaller blending brushes, which I personally like for the lower lash line, or if you want to do a little bit more detailed blending. You have this kind of flat but packed kind of fluffy brush. This is the EO4 that I like more for under the eyes, or if I want to pack a shadow to get the most pigment. And then this one and the big fluffy one are my favorite. So the EO3 was the big fluffy, and then the EO1 I love for metallic shadows when I want to use a brush. I typically do use my finger, but if I want to get into my inner corner or in a tight spot, I love that this still has like density to it while being slightly flat and slightly pointed. It just picks shadows up really well, and really good brushes. And then the other thing I love about this that I would say is different than BK Beauty is, and I think she said this, these are kind of trying to mimic natural hair brushes. So they are incredibly soft, incredibly soft. Great job, Angelica. Really beautiful brushes. They are at the top of my list. I have to say, I am fully impressed with this Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Tint, I think it's called. It's not written back here, but I have mine in the shade Bellini. So I did buy the primer face version of this, you know, whatever it was that they released last year or year before. And when they were going to release the blushes, I was definitely interested, but I waited to see some reviews, and actually Angelica Nyqvist is the one who kind of convinced me to buy this. This is an absolutely beautiful cream blush. It is incredibly easy to use. It blends out seamlessly. It is incredibly pigmented, which I think is great for all skin tones. And I did recently wear this blush in my new makeup releases video, and I got a lot of compliments on, oh my gosh, what's on your cheeks? Your cheeks look so bright and beautiful. And I love the color Bellini because it is that coral peach, which I personally love. I feel like it brings light to my face. It makes me look youthful and all of that. And most of all, like I said, the ease of use is incredible. It's very creamy, and it gives a slightly kind of dewy look, but me with oily skin, it's not over the top dewy where it looks greasy or feels greasy. It stays put all day. It's a beautiful, beautiful cream blush. Speaking of blush, I have to also put in this top category, the Blend Money Cosmetics Bare Cheeks palette. I have been loving this. When I first saw that she was releasing these palettes, I obviously was very excited because I love Blend Bunny. I love everything that they do. And I wanted to get this one because I felt like I'd get a little more use out of it. And when I got it in person, I kind of felt like a lot of the shades weren't really going to be ones that I reach for, like the purples, like these that are very, very neutral. And so I was kind of like, how much use am I really going to get out of this? But I have been reaching for this all the time, and mixing the shades together has been really fun for me. And I've created some beautiful blush looks, and they are a lot more, quote, wearable for me than I thought they were going to be. And in fact, I wore this blush palette on my wedding day, so you know I love it, right? These are true matte blushes. There's no sort of sheen, there's no sort of sparkle or dewy cheek look to it, but I do feel like they are easy to blend. They don't look dry or chalky on the cheeks. They are quite pigmented, but I go in with a very fluffy brush, and I feel like I get a good amount of pigmentation that I personally like. Now, I like a pretty blushy cheek. Like, I don't put like 2 little dots of blush and I'm good to go. Like, I like a blush that you can see, but I like to build it up to what I want. And I feel like with these, I can, but I can also see if you go in with a dense brush, if you have like a tan to deep skin tone, you will be able to see the pigment on your skin, I'm assuming. Of course, I don't know, but absolutely love this. I'm definitely gonna buy the other one as well whenever I place an order at Blend Bunny next, because I love this blush palette. And then the last product in this category is the Give Beauty Pick It Up Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I have mine in the shade Toastin'. I did recently pick this up, honestly not that long ago, but I've worn it every single day since I bought it, so I have my thoughts on it. I love it. First of all, I love the packaging where you've got this acrylic front with underneath a paper bag and then a bandana print. It's very Gwen Stefani. I'm a big Gwen Stefani fan, No Doubt fan, have been since I was a kid. So I love the packaging. Like it makes sense to me. And then on the inside, you have a cream contour and a powder duo. Now, I beg to differ in terms of what they're calling it. I don't really feel like this is cool toned, the cream, which I think, when I think contour, I think cool toned, but could just be me. I love the tone of these. I feel like they have like a yellow undertone almost, which is what I love for my skin tone. The cream is buildable. It's not overly pigmented. It is extremely easy to blend. Don't feel like it picks up my foundation underneath. I typically go in with a brush and it works fine for me. And then the powder is a lot more pigmented, and I actually like to use this with my brush more as a contour because I feel like it's a lot deeper on me personally than the cream. So I like to go in and just define like the back of my cheekbones along the perimeter of my face. I don't really love to sweep this all over because it is a little deep for me. So again, I have the shade Toastin', which is the second to lightest shade. I've really been enjoying this a lot. The products are incredibly easy to work with. And for me, the tone is what really makes it work for me. That category had the most products. Okay, so that's very exciting for me. I'm buying things that I really like. By the way, I meant to tell you, I purchased everything. The only things that I got in PR that I've talked about so far are the Pacifica lotion and the Resurgence collection from Unearthly and Heather Austin. I did receive those in PR. Everything else I bought myself. So now we're going into the good but not great category. And right at the top, almost reaching the top category, are the Blend Bunny lip oils. These are very good. Like the actual lip oils themselves are incredible. I actually have this clear one next to my bed and I use it before I go to sleep at night. And I feel like it really does give me a nice hydrated lip without being goopy, but it's very oily. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful formula. So there are two different lines. There's the Bare But There line, and then there's the Bring the Juice line. I did get two from each. One of them is in my purse right now, but I will say I prefer the Bring the Juice because of the smell. The smell of these juice ones, so good. They are like a fruity scent, but they're not overly scented where they're like in the back of your throat. Like I can't stand that. The Bare But There have a slight minty smell, which I also like. And I really, really love the tinted ones over a lip liner. Even this dark purple one, which I didn't expect really to love as much as I do. I feel like when I wear this over a lip liner, it makes my lips look like jelly. Remember like jelly shoes where it's like you can see through it, but there's color, like really, really beautiful look to the lips. Very glassy. The only thing that I don't love about these is the applicator. I don't feel like this picks up enough product. There's not like a nice glide. It's almost like there's a drag to it and I have to dip in a whole bunch of times. And especially if I'm wearing a lip liner or a lipstick underneath, I don't love to drag it because the applicator is so dry that it picks up my lip liner or my lipstick underneath. So I end up just kind of dabbing. But I will say, this one that I've used the most, the clear one, every time I'm using it, more and more lip oil is penetrating the doe foot and there is that glide. So I think it just takes time for the applicator to get more product on it, if that makes any sense. But I just wish off the bat, the experience was a little nicer in terms of glide factor. But other than that, if you don't care about that, these are very good lip oils. Next product to talk about is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand Contour. I did get mine in the shade Light Medium. I like this product. I love the end result. I like how it looks on my face after I've had to kind of work to get it there. And that's the part I don't like. I don't feel like these are very easy to use. They are a little bit finicky. I also don't like the fact that there is no lock on the sponge. So can you see how disgusting that looks? Because the product just comes out. Like while it's in the cap, while I'm not using it, the product is leaking out. It's all in the cap. Not the best thing in the world. I do really like the color of this. It is a little more cool tone, but not gray or ashy. I prefer to use this with a sponge. I've tried to use it with a brush and it just messes up my foundation underneath. I don't know what it is about the formula, but I really do need to use a sponge to apply this. And I have to be careful, like how much product I use. If I use too much product, you can definitely see it. If you don't use enough product, it's patchy. So there is that kind of learning curve where I had to figure out how much product to use, what tool to use. When I got it there, I actually like the end result, but is the juice worth the squeeze? I don't know. But that's kind of my thoughts on this product. Next product I want to talk about is the concealer that I'm wearing today. This is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. I have mine in the shade N7. So in terms of the color, I think it matches me, especially as I get a little more tan as the summer comes on. I think this is going to be a really good shade for me. It pretty much matches my foundation exactly. So I really like this concealer. I think it's good. The only downside I would say is, again, it's a little more on the finicky side. I have to be careful how much I apply. If I over apply it, it can look heavy under my eyes. It can crease, and it does crease. It's not the most crease-proof concealer I've used, and ironically, it's called the Crease-Proof Serum Concealer, which is a claim. Now, I don't really believe that any concealer is not gonna crease if you have lines under your eyes, right? I mean, it's natural. These things are gonna happen. There are some concealers I think crease less than others, and this one definitely does crease faster than some others, but I do really love how it looks under my eyes for the first few hours. I think it looks very airbrushed. I have extremely dark under eyes, and I look for a medium to full coverage concealer that can try to smooth my under eyes as much as possible. And I do really feel like this has great coverage. I enjoy the color. The formula is that creamy, a little bit on the thicker side. So just keep that in mind, but I do really love how this looks. It's just not an all-day, completely foolproof concealer, and there are ones that I like more than this, but I still think it's good. Let's talk about some blushes. Let's talk about the blush I'm wearing on my face today. This is the Glamlite and Scooby Doo Cheek Duo. So we have two blushes here, and actually for today's look, I mixed both the blushes. I really love the packaging. You know, Glamlite does an amazing job with their packaging. I think they really put a lot of time and thought into their products, and it shows. And I really like these colors for summer. I think that they're really fun. They're really bright and poppy. So the only kind of downside to this is I have to be incredibly careful. Like for me and my skin tone, I just have to be really careful because these are very pigmented blushes. So I have to go in with a very light hand with a very fluffy brush. And if I do that, I really like how these blushes look. Like they're so pretty. They are a matte blush, but I would say as opposed to the Blend Bunny ones, there is a little bit of a sheen. I think these are good blushes. They're nothing crazy special to write home about, but I have been enjoying using these a lot. And then another set of blushes I want to talk about are the ones from the ColourPop and Alice in Wonderland collection. Love the packaging on these as well. This whole collection, I think, packaging-wise, was one of my favorites from ColourPop. Alice in Wonderland was one of my favorite movies as a kid to watch, so I can appreciate the theming. And we did get two very different blushes. We got like a warm pink. This one is called Oh Dear. And then this one I actually like a little bit more than the pink one. This is In Silence, and it is a red blush. This is beautiful. But again, I have to be pretty careful with this because it is pigmented. So if you are looking for a pigmented red blush, I think you would really enjoy this one. This pink one I think is okay. I mean, I don't think it's anything really special. I really haven't been reaching for this one a whole lot. This is the one I reach for a little bit more because it's a little more unique to my collection. But as I've said before in the past, I think the ColourPop Pressed Powder Blush formula is good. It's fine. It's nothing crazy spectacular. It's fine. It's a matte pressed powder blush. That's all. But I do really like the packaging and the theming, and I like the red blush. I think it's different. Now I have a couple of lip products to talk about. So the first one is the Lawless Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Plumping Mask. So I got mine in the Juicy Watermelon scent. The scent is really yummy. And I like that it's scented, but it's not overly scented. Like I love when lip products have a nice scent to them, that it's pleasant, but it's not over the top where you're tasting it or it's perfumey or anything like that. I think the scent on this is spot on. It's right in the middle in terms of level of scent. The one thing that I don't love about this is it's advertised as an overnight mask, and it is lip plumping, which is also what it is advertised as. But I feel like this is pretty strong lip plumping. Like it kind of burns a little bit, which I don't mind, but it's not something that I necessarily want when I'm sleeping. And I have the Lawless Gloss lip plumping formula, and I like the gloss because it is lip plumping, but it's not burning, like it's more cooling. And that's what I expected with this. And it's just a little too intense for me to wear at night, personally for me. I do like wearing this when I'm prepping my lips while I'm doing my makeup or something like that, and then I can wipe it off to put on my lip product at the end. I think it's great for that, but I just wanted to make you aware of that. If you are sensitive to lip plumping burning, I don't know that this is the best formula for you, but if you do like that formula and you are looking for something like this, I do like it. I think it's good. It's just not what I expected, personally. And then the last lip product I want to talk about is the About Face Cherry Pick Lip Color Butter. This is like one of these Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip things where you click it up, it's very emollient, it's very glidey, it's very glossy. Now, I got mine in the shade Peach Punisher, but I will tell you, I was bamboozled because I thought this was going to be peach. It's described as like a cinnamon peach, and this on my lips at least is very pink, and I just don't prefer that. It's pretty darn pigmented. I have a couple of other formulas like this in my collection that aren't as pigmented. This one is quite pigmented, so if you're looking for a pigmented one, you might like it, but I just was kind of disappointed in the color. I was expecting something a lot more warm, a lot more peach, and this is very pink to me. That's kind of the downside to it. Another upside to it is the smell. It's very good. It's very fruity. It's very, very good. Very pleasant. Now, I would say I prefer this Flower Beauty one, and it is a little bit more affordable. I have mine in the shade Toasty. So this is kind of more what I was hoping for. This one is a little bit more like cinnamon leaning, and it's not as pigmented. So I feel like the color just blends into my lips. And the one from Flower Beauty is a little bit more like minty sensation to it, a little bit minty of a smell. And this one doesn't really have any kind of plumping aspect to it. So yeah, it's okay. I just wish that the color was a little more true to description. Other than that, it's good. All right, now we're gonna go into the meh category. These are things that are just like, they're not terrible, but I don't really love them. So this product is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand Highlight version. I have mine in the shade Champagne Campaign, which I love the name. I love the name, and it is just a true champagne. This is a very subtle highlighter. Almost to the point where it's like, why even take the time to put it on? Especially because it's a liquid highlighter. Again, I feel like with liquid products, sometimes you have to be a little bit more careful. They're a little bit more finicky. And if the juice is worth the squeeze, I'll do it. But with this, it's like, it's fine. It's not bad looking. It doesn't look terrible like the Flower Beauty liquid highlighter. I don't like at all. That one's very metallic looking. This one's not metallic looking, but it's really like not much happening on the face. So I don't love that. That's kind of all I have to say about it. The next product I want to talk about is actually a product I'm wearing today. This is the Haus Labs Le Monster Lip Crayon in the shade Honey Matte. So Haus Labs did come out with new colors recently of this formula. This was an existing formula from before, and so I wanted to pick up one of the new colors. I will say the color is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, like totally up my alley. A very light, warm nude. Love it, love it. I don't really love this formula. For me, it dries my lips out terribly. And I don't have a problem with dry lips. I live in a very humid climate, but this sucks the moisture out of my lips. But I will say, for the first hour that it's on, it looks beautiful and it feels fine. But if I wear this all day, it dries my lips out. Now, I am wearing a gloss on top, so I feel like that's fine. It gives me a little bit of moisture that I'm not gonna feel that, but this on its own, not my favorite thing. That's all. I think it looks beautiful. I just don't love the feeling of it after a while. The next product I wanna talk about are the About Face Line Artist Longwear Gel Eyeliners. So I have two shades that I picked up not too long ago from Ulta because I was looking for a kind of like a chartreusey limey green and also a navy blue. I typically, for my eyeliners, I wear the ColourPop liners. I have a lot of shades, but I didn't have these two shades in particular that I was looking for. The green one is Electric Slide and the navy one is Blue is the New Black. I don't love these. The blue one especially, it's fine when it goes in, but it ends up coming off my waterline pretty quickly and it comes off in patches. So it kind of looks like it's there, but Parts of my waterline don't have liner on them. Not my favorite look, especially for a dark liner where it's really obvious when it wears off. And then the green one, I feel like I really have to go in and build it up and build it up. And I never really feel like it's as vibrant as I want it to be. I really do prefer the ColourPop ones. These aren't terrible. They're not like unusable. They're just more finicky. That's kind of where I'm at with these. I would say go for ColourPop. And then the last product in this category is an unpopular opinion. This is the Tower 28 Make Waves Mascara. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I personally have not great lashes. They need help. And I don't feel like this does much for my lashes. I always wear a lash primer underneath my mascara because I need something for the mascara to grip onto to lift my lashes and like give me something. And if I wear a lash primer under this, it is incredibly clumpy looking, like not lengthening at all, which is what it claims to be. I don't really like this with a lash primer underneath, which is my usual way of doing things. So then if I use this on its own, I don't feel like this does anything for my lashes at all. I don't feel like it lengthens them. It almost clumps them together and makes it look like I have less lashes. And I also think it's because there's so much product that comes out on the wand. It's not my favorite mascara. Is it the worst mascara I've ever used? No. Am I gonna use it up till it's gone? Yes. Am I gonna repurchase it? No. And then my last product, the only product that's in the is gonna be a no for me dog category, is the Juvia's Place Liquid Blush. And I have mine in the shade Lily Love. Now this may be a shade thing. This is just way too pigmented to the point where it's unusable for me. Like I'm gonna give this away to somebody else because I can't use it. I've tried to use it so many times in different ways. I've tried to use less product. And if I use the amount of product I need to get the pigmentation I need, it's not enough that it's so hard to blend out that it becomes really patchy and looks almost thin. It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look. And if I use any more, it just is way too pigmented. Again, it could be a shade thing. It's very possible, but this is just unusable for me and I don't enjoy using it. All right, and that is it for this speed reviews video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on any of the products that I talked about today. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Like I said, it's totally okay if you disagree with me. We may just have different preferences, and makeup is so personal. So something I love, you may hate, and vice versa. And I want to hear your thoughts down below because I love hearing from you. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot when you do that. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing before you leave. I do upload videos weekly, and I would love to see you back on my channel again. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.